Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
We look at what our government is doing and how this is all being changed by a few billionaires. I have to ask you, do you really think that you are part of a fantasy politics league? Do you realize that the two teams are owned by billionaires in this fantasy politics league? You know, Jeb Bush talked about fantasy sports. He was given that question. And of course, he said, well, gee, that's something we really ought to look at regulating. You know, his first instinct is there ought to be a law somehow. We need to shut that down. And he says this is kind of like day trading where there's no regulation. What he was doing was he was offering himself out to Sheldon Adelson when he starts talking about, yeah, you know, this is kind of like, this could be like gambling. We need to shut this down because he is running out of money. Yeah, his little exclamation mark is limp. Okay, and he's dragging that thing around trying to get somebody to send him some money. This story from Politico says the Bush team is bracing for a cash crunch. So who's he going to get that money from? Well, that money is going to be coming from billionaires who are going to be contributing to super PACs. And he's not getting any of that money coming into him from individual donors. Remember that when he began his campaign, he drew in about $150 million. It was a huge, huge haul from billionaires. It went into his super PAC, but he can't get access to that money. The super PACs spend their money independent of the candidates. So he can't pay his staff with that money, and nobody is contributing to him. As a matter of fact, they're not contributing to his super PACs anymore either. And so we see this article that came out from Our Streets, and it was commented on by National Review, and they questioned whether or not Donald Trump's campaign is broken. And I thought it was interesting because what they did was they looked at how much was spent and how much was owed. And they say, well, you know, he hasn't gone to outside donors for money, so he's heavily in debt. But he's in debt to himself. And they ask a good question. If he's a real estate investment tycoon, is he going to be able, does he have that cash on hand? Or is he going to have to liquidate properties? If he does so, will he have to do so at fire sale prices? But I think even more important than that analysis is when you look at the ranking of candidates by super PACs. You can see that Jeb Bush is number one. There he is, $103 million with super PACs. And of course, Donald Trump has gotten zero from super PACs. He hasn't been getting funded by other billionaires. But that is precisely his problem. Now, Rubio doesn't have that problem. Rubio just landed a major donor. And of course, Paul Singer has just thrown his support behind Marco Rubio. It looks like Marco Rubio is also going to win the Sheldon Adelson primary. See, those are the primaries that really matter. You can watch the debates and you can handicap the candidates, but understand that whether or not you watch this game, you're still going to pay for the stadium, and the players are still going to be picked by the billionaires. And there was an excellent satire from the New Yorker saying billionaire acquires Rubio pending physical. They say that Paul Singer has acquired Florida Senator Marco Rubio for a rumored 8-figure sum pending a physical. He got an option for 4 years. He got him for 4 years with an option for another 4 years. That's precisely the case. And when we look at how these people are buying up our candidates, we need to be concerned about the kinds of billionaires that are buying them up. When we look at Paul Singer, understand that this is a guy who is the very embodiment not only of vulture capitalism, but also of taking over small countries, holding a gun to their head, buying their debt at a very small amount of money. Look at what he did to Argentina. He went in, he bought up their debt at 30 cents per dollar, a face value of $630 million. He bought it for less than 10 cents on a dollar, $48 million. But then he added interest charges to it, got it up to $2.4 billion, held a gun to their head, and that's the way he makes his money. Those are the kind of people who are writing the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Those are the kind of people who are controlling our candidates. And it is not just Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio. Ted Cruz has one of the largest collectors of billionaire funds as well. Follow the money. See who owns these guys. It's very interesting to compare him to the little hedge fund yuppie who acquired that pharmaceutical company and raised the price of the drugs by 5,000%. That's essentially what Paul Singer, Marco Rubio's new owner, did to an entire country. He acquired the sovereign debt of Argentina and then went for a 50-to-1 return on investment because that's the way the billionaires roll. That's how they make all their money. Now, tomorrow there's a measure on the ballot of Ohio about marijuana. Not simply about legalizing marijuana. This is a ballot measure that was bankrolled by wealthy investors, They spent nearly $25 million to put it on the ballot and sell it to voters. It wasn't that nice of them. How altruistic of them to try to stop the suffering of this unconstitutional war on drugs. No, that's not why they did it. If it passes, these people will have exclusive rights to growing commercial marijuana in Ohio. As the New York Times reports, on the ballot, Ohio is going to grapple with the specter of a marijuana monopoly, because that's the way these global elitists roll in everything. They want to own everything, and they want to dictate to you what you can and cannot do with your life. We need to be very concerned about this type of pattern. As a person who worked his entire life to stop the criminalization of marijuana pointed out, this is nothing but opportunists seeking monopolistic control. That's what we see everywhere. That's what's going on globally.
Oh, hey, sorry. I was just admiring the brand new shipment of Hillary for Prison 2016 t-shirts. We just got them in. On the back it says Infowars.com, legalize freedom. Everybody here is super excited today. No one wants that woman to become the president of the United States. Whoa, look at this. Jakari Jackson even has his on.
Whoa.
What's going on?
What a coincidence that we would wear the same t-shirt on the same day. That's a very nice jacket you have on there, Biggs, as well. Yeah, when we're talking about this Hillary for Prison t-shirt that's only $19.95 at the Infowars store, it reminds me of just the kind of aura of Mrs. Clinton. Because of course we know she lied about being shot at by sniper fire. You know, Brian Williams had a similar lie. Not to mention the whole Benghazi scandal, where she was alerted to the plight of Ambassador Stevens, but instead of sending aid to Ambassador Stevens, she actually took that aid away. And Joe, I'm noticing something right there on your hip. What do you have there?
Oh, this is something that Hillary Clinton doesn't like. This is a gun. Hillary Clinton doesn't want you to have the ability to protect yourself if someone wants to hurt you. There's crazy people out there.
Well, you know, Joe, there are crazy people out there. So for that reason right there, I keep mine right here handy as well. So I guess you can just not like that, Hillary.
Well, guess what? Go pick up your Hillary for Prison t-shirt and piss off a liberal. Let's go see what the rest of the crew's doing here at the Infowars studio. So occasionally you're gonna run into a friend that doesn't have a t-shirt. Rob, where is your shirt at?
It's right. Oh, wrong shirt.
That's why you buy multiple Hillary for Prison t-shirts. You can help out a buddy in need. But be prepared like this guy and have yours on.
Make sure you're prepared.
Darren, always prepared. Make sure you go to the Infowars store and pick up your Hillary for Prison t-shirt and show your disapproval today.